All right, guys, I'm not going to waste your time. Here's why it's really similar to first May of 2021, and then we're going to talk about why it's also similar to right back here in 2019 after the big run up as well. Even probably a little bit, well, both of them, there were meme coins, I believe, in 2019. I wasn't too active in 2019, but I believe there were some meme coins that did have a decent run up during this area too. But the main thing that I would compare Pepe to is a little bit of Dogecoin. Big hype, went to the moon back here, and then what happened? The whole market kind of collapsed. So if we look at money flow, we're seeing the blood diamond on the 2-day on Market Cipher A, very similar. Also in terms of money flow, right here on Market Cipher B, very similar as well. So what happened there? It came down. Pepe is kind of like the Doge. The history doesn't repeat exactly. I don't know if it's gonna, do this exact. This is this kind of exact thing. The 2019, or yeah, it would look like this if we did do that. That'd be a lower low, maybe a little bit of a lower low in the summer. That would be a big crash down. I don't think that's gonna happen. There's just not the leverage. It's not as big of a mania phase that would bring us down that quickly. Most likely, you would see something more of kind of, let's say, in this nature, something like this. Into the next few months, and then let's compare it kind of like that. You come down, that's potential for a double bottom. Also, that area, that general area around there is pretty significant because if you look at your, 400 weekly moving average and you kind of estimate where that would end up, it's going to be kind of around a double bottom. If you do hit that in September, August, in a few months, if we see kind of not a big crash, but a slower decline down over the next few months. The weekly would also support that with the split RSIs, similar to here coming down. So we do have that to keep in mind. Also, if you look at your 2-week here, money flow coming out back here, and then we cross into the red. It's a little bit different. I would say like overall this looks more bearish now than kind of back here because the VWAP's been above the zero line for a while, number one. Number two, the money flow looks like it wants to get even deeper. And that could bring you down significantly. I do think that this is a really good place, to continue to kind of DCA into Bitcoin as long as this stays in the red. But I'll show you what I'm looking at for Ethereum and some altcoins to start getting into those later in this video in a second. Let's look at more of the lower time frames for Bitcoin. What could we could expect? More of the short term here. Now, you're forming this head and shoulders. You probably see it a little bit better. 16 hours good. Money flow generally coming out here, which is also somewhat bearish. And then, if we do break down out of this, let's say the neckline, it's a little bit subjective. Let's say the neckline is kind of over here. If you do break down out of that, well, actually, no, let's be less. Let's be less subjective. Let's be more, neckline's like right about there. And then you break down from there. Where does that bring you to? 24. You do have your 200 weekly, around here, 26. Price doesn't respect the 200 weekly moving average as much. I still think if we lose that, that's pretty bearish overall, but it's not because everybody talks about it. It's just not the indication that it used to be. I think the stronger points to look at are going to be more the 400 weekly and the 500 weekly moving now. Even the 300 weekly isn't even that big. I'm just curious to see where that is currently. Let's take a quick look at that one. And that's going to be down here at about 20K. So it is significant. That would be more significant. I expect more of a jump off at 20K if we do get that low. I think we will, but we'll see. But that would be the place where we would see that technical target around 24. So you may see that. I mean, when you may see that, you could see that in the next couple of weeks, into the end of the month, if we do see kind of that sell in May, walk away, type thing. And a lot of the stars are, let's finish this, Bitcoin, money flow crossover from, green to red. If it's like that, you're going to come down more. Let's map this out a little bit, what we did back here. Where was that crossover? Right around up here. That's the case to come down to 25. So we could see 25 in maybe even 2 days. Maybe even 2 days we could see 25. Then after that, into the next week or so, we could see kind of 24 potentially. We'll see what happens there. Maybe the bounce off the 25, you come up a little bit, and then you come down to 24. That's a big possibility there. If you guys are interested in any of my exclusive TA, trade signals, all of that, me and 2 other amazing professional analysts do have a Patreon link down below. And we have been really active in it. Really great community. A lot of people are really participating there. So we're not going to keep prices this low forever. So check it out while it's hot. I think you guys are going to learn a lot from it. I think it's a great community, so check it out. And so that's Bitcoin right now. If we move on to kind of Ethereum here, I don't want to spend too much time. A lot of it is the same as, as Bitcoin, but the 12-day I think is going to be the significant place to start DCAing in as this gets into the red here, as this kind of comes into the red here. And, I think that's going to be kind of in the summer, where it gets deeper into the red. I'm going to start DCAing and start to convert some Bitcoin over to ETH and start DCAing into Ethereum as this kind of, gets into the red here to kind of repeat this for, 8 to 10 months staying in the red. That's going to be your prime rare accumulation opportunity for Ethereum, I think. That area. We could come down lower potentially. If you do, kind of repeat this, look at this red dot, look at the anchor wave, this same kind of exact level we are from back in 2019. If you repeat that, I wouldn't count the Black Swan, but if you repeat that, that's a lower low, which I think a lot of altcoins can make lower lows into the summer, potentially at the end of the year. It depends how quickly, things come down. But I do think there is a big possibility of this making a lower low, lower than 1,000 here potentially. ETH Bitcoin, that evaluation would also back this up. It's shown a little bit of strength. I think that's because the Pepe and the meme coins kind of pumping up, a lot of more money going into alts a little bit. But I do think inevitably this is going to come down to kind of at least this evaluation against Bitcoin. It's already bled 25%, but currently 21%. Most is 27, so it's bled over 20% against Bitcoin. I think it could bleed at least another 16%. If it goes down to make lower lows, this could be, down here. It could be 0.03, 0.04, which is going to be a very rare, almost like one. That'll probably be the last time to get into ETH to make like 10 or 20x gains or whatever, if you're willing to hold it for a few years. I think, not financial advice though. And then if we, move on to some of the lower time frames on ETH, you can see the daily blood diamond now. The last few, obviously, they played out, but then we jumped up. Played out a little bit and then jumped up. We are so overdue for one of these to give us, to be more of the bearish case, similar to over here. Maybe it's like this. If it's like this, you're right back down to like, $1,000 potentially into a month and a half, which if we do see a big crash that could happen, I think it may take longer than that. I think you may not see that for, maybe until the end of the summer or September. That's my gut instinct says it would take longer than that because, where history rhymes. I don't think it's going to be exactly like, 2021 was at the top, but yeah. And then if we look at kind of the head and shoulders, very similar to, Bitcoin here, essentially. Neckline is, kind of forming that neckline there. It's a little bit subjective, but you do break that neckline, you're down like 15, which is the 2018 all-time high. Which is a big area that we could be headed down to into, I don't know, the end of the month potentially. I think this will continue to bleed pretty hard against Bitcoin too, especially as the Pepe hype is over, as that crashes, which that could be hitting the top right now. In terms of smaller time frames, I kind of think that these could continue deeper into the red. I think this, then the 4-hour will, 3-hour too. I think this could come deeper into the red there, come down to kind of that area 17, which could be pretty significant. Maybe even in the next few days if we do see a big drop down. But I didn't think it happened here. It could take longer. It's hard to say. The other thing too we want to look at is the DXY. I think you're either kind of bottomed out here. You're hitting 100, which is a big place. With the yellow X though, that makes me think maybe you could come a little bit lower for this, get one last kind of jump up for crypto over, I don't know, next few weeks or something if we do see more of a green May. But tough to say here. If you do come down, I think 99, you should get at least somewhat of a jump off of 99 here. So yeah, that's kind of my main view on it. A little bit hard to say. The daily does, you're getting the blood diamond. Money flow is generally coming up. Some of these could be, some of these do end up being buy signals, maybe, like that. See, that was a pretty good buy signal. It could have been something like that. Could be something like that. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind there. I want to look at Pepe and there's a high probability this could be, topped out, headed down. There's a lot of I'd say a lot of this was brought on by people that aren't even too experienced into crypto, people that weren't even around in 2021, kind of new people that got into crypto on this rally up. So they're just so inexperienced. That's what I think brought this up a lot. If you do continue forward here, I think you'd see kind of like a diminished return version of like that rally up. Maybe here, if you do come up higher, probably this area could be possible to get out all the people trying to short. But Obviously, these are the hardest ones to predict. This is a very logical time to get out, especially if you're ahead on this. It doesn't look good by any means in these lower time frames, but these tend to throw you curveballs. We'll see what happens with this. We'll see what happens with this. Bitcoin dominance as well. One thing I wanted to show you on Bitcoin dominance that could be interesting here. So if you break upward out of this, channel, your target would be around 59. That's pretty high up. I don't know if we're going to go up that high. If you look here at May of 2021, Bitcoin dominance jumped up that much. If it's like that, you would jump up to 58. That would be interesting. If we could get up to kind of see these areas over here, 53, 54, that's an excellent place, I think, to start DCing into altcoins. That's an excellent place to start DCing into altcoins, even if we do end up going back up to these areas. I don't think you're going to get up to 70, or you may not even get up to 60 here. I think it's going to make a lower low, but I think you will definitely break out of this channel somewhat. Other thing, too, I wanted to look at, I'm curious about, is after the 2019 rally. Yeah, the 2019 rally, after that ended, essentially, let's see, it ended, that was interesting. Yeah, it ended, I believe, in June or July. You did have a jump up this much. Let's see where that would bring you to. Yeah, right around that same kind of area. It's a little bit, yeah. So I think this area, mid 50s is going to be an excellent place to start DCing into altcoins. It doesn't mean FOMO everything into altcoins, but that means a good place to probably, not financial advice, Ethereum especially. I'm going to be starting to convert some of my Bitcoin over to Ethereum. Good place to DCA into Ethereum and some good altcoins. That's going to be, those potentials to get some serious gains in the next bull run. I want to look at the S&P 500 just a little bit here and give you kind of a theory on what I think may happen. So I do think you're getting, very close to a potential top here, rejecting off of this area, money flow coming out on the 3-day. It depends how much what happens here. If it's a gradual, slow, gradual decline down, Bitcoin may follow it for longer, and Bitcoin may also follow a slow, gradual decline down into the end of the year, maybe even into 2024. If you do, something like this, something of this nature into the end of the year, look at this. We've been just so sideways here. But if we do see something catastrophic, of just a big drop down, forcing the Fed to pivot in a few months in August or whatever, we're at 300 or 280 even. We know what happens in recessions, guys. We know this has capabilities of crashing 50% even. Even down here is a possibility. That's what happens in a lot of recessions. You've been sideways. You've been flat for a long time. When things are flat for a long time, typically they move violently when they do break up or down. And I think it's probably going to be down. We could get that big trajectory downward. You come down a good amount. Fed is forced to pivot, August, September. You come down a little bit more after the pivot or whatever. Usually the bottom is after they start to pivot. Then that could be, Bitcoin I think will bottom out before it. Bitcoin will probably act kind of like gold. It'll crash down a good amount when this crashes down, but it'll bottom before it, I think, and then see a big trajectory upward similar to gold. I think gold will probably do the same thing, just with less volatility. So that's the thing to keep an eye on for. This doesn't look good on the macro by any means. Hasn't looked good for a while on the macro. I mean, look at the 7-day. You may get those blood diamonds. I think are going to play out. Those trend reversals and blood diamonds will play out soon. Could take time, but I think they will play out pretty soon. Other thing too is I forgot to, let me just show you this kind of trajectory here. You saw that blood diamond. You can compare it to maybe something, well, let's do it over here, I guess. Something of this nature. This is more of your elongated bear market that we're just not used to for this. So if you were to, I don't know, do it from that one, that's still August. That's that area, 260. Could play out something of that nature. Where the people who got in at the exact bottoms here and pandemic or 2018, they're spared. They're still in the positive, but everybody else, they're in the red, and that does happen. That does happen in recessions. Anyway, guys, that's all I got. Check out the exclusive Discord down below. Really amazing community. Me and 2 other professional traders. A lot of people are really liking it. Also, check out the MEXC link down below if you guys are interested in trading. Really good promos. There are always 0 limit fees with my link down below. And trading course, evanaldo.com, bear market 20 is the code. A lot of people have really liked the trading course. Excellent beginner trading course. Check it out, guys. Have a good one. Goodbye.